Hello everybody, thank you for tuning into Bugging Out with Miss Vanity. This video is actually going to be dedicated to Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. He actually committed suicide yesterday, and the reason why I'm doing this video is because personally I really liked his music. My youngest sister actually put me onto his music, and I've always listened to the lyrics of his music, and the lyrics of his music have always touched me, because it's always been about some kind of underlying pain and depression. That's how depression is. It's like an underlying pain that you really you can't really put into words, and it's hard to deal with it. People that deal with depression, we're able to mask our pain. Some people, we're clowns. We make other people laugh. We rather be clowns with the life of the party. Some people do. Some people get into substance abuse. And some people get into self-harm and stuff like that. And that's how people with depression deal with it. I'm the kind of person that I like to make people laugh. Even when I'm the saddest, I make people laugh. I don't like to show when I'm weak, because I feel that if you show weakness, you show your side, you show weakness. So I try to show I'm not bothered by anything. But it's a saying that you never see the tears of a clown. That's actually was a song by every time I say this, I always forget the man's name. His last name is Robinson. I always forget his first name for some reason, but there's a song called Tears of a Clown, and that song relates to people that do go through depression and hide it by being really funny, because when you make people laugh, people just see you as laughing. They see you as a clown. They don't see your tears. Once the laughter ends and you're all alone, it's a whole different story. And Chester and his music, I was actually listening to his albums last night, and they touched me. They've always been deep to me, and they've always meant something to me. And it's sad that a man at that stature, such a talented man, couldn't deal with his pain anymore, and decided that he needed peace. I at one point felt that people that committed suicide, this was years ago, I thought that people that committed suicide were weak. I'm not encouraging suicide. Please do not take this as me encouraging suicide, because I do not in any way encourage self-harm, encourage suicide, encourage anything having to do with hurting yourself or doing anything harmful. But sometimes there's a pain that you cannot express, and there's a pain that you cannot explain, and nobody understands it except the person that's going through it. It's not like a person with a broken arm. You can speak to another person that broke their arm, and they can relate to you. And every person that deals with depression deals with it differently. Depression is different with everybody. So some people do take drastic measures in order for them to fight, or for them to find peace, because that is a form of peace. When you're dealing with depression, it's a constant battle every day. You wake up in the morning and you feel like, why did I wake up? And you see the sun and you're like, it's such a beautiful day, but yet you're like, it's like you have this cloud over you. And it's like, sometimes you're able to push that cloud aside, and you're able to be happy and be upbeat and whatever. But then the nighttime comes around, and it's like that darkness takes over you again. And it's like a daily battle. And I'm not saying it's worse than any other disease out there. That's not what I'm saying. But it's a pain so deep that nothing reaches it. Nothing. And I can tell you from experience. I suffer from anxiety and I suffer from depression. I told you that I was going to tell you who I was. I've suffered through the worst depression I never thought that I would ever go through the depression that I went through. Like, I never in a million years thought that people could suffer this way. I never thought. I never thought. Never in a million years. And the thing is that it's because it's in your head. It's in your head, and it's so hard. And all you want to do is just take a day off. Like, just take it off. Take a day off. You just want to just take a day off, man. Like, you just want to just take a breather. Like, yo, like, take a breath and just be like, yo, like, it's just like it takes a grip on you and you just can't let go. And it's so sad that a man that's so talented and a man that touched so many people and was such a sweet guy, and that he was not able to control his pain. It's horrible. And I just want to say, rest in peace to Chester Bennington. And I'm sorry sorry for the loss to his family, to Linkin Park, to everybody that knew him personally, to all his fans, to everybody. And it's like, I hope in my heart that he has found peace. I hope that even though this was a horrific, horrible, sad event that he did, I hope that he did find peace. And again, please don't think that I'm doing this video because I want people to go ahead and just do the unthinkable. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's just, sometimes you just want peace. You just want peace. And it's just so sad that sometimes the only peace that you could find is by completely ending everything. And it's so hard. I'm not gonna say any more reference to this. This video was dedicated to him, and honestly, I hope that if he can hear this, I don't know if there's an afterlife, I really don't, but if he does see this and he does hear this, and anybody that does see it, I hope that they understand that he meant something. And everybody that's going through depression, you mean something. And just breathe. And one day, later on, I may share my story with you guys, because I've gone through a lot. And some of you may not even believe me, but I've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. Rest in peace, Chester. And I hope that your music obviously will live on forever. And I'm a Linkin fan forever, always. And I just hope that he found peace. And I hope his family and his friends and everybody that loves him would understand that he just didn't want to just leave them. It's just that sometimes you just can't take it anymore. But anyway, good night. And this is just sad. But good night, and take care, everybody.